Alcohol will be classed as a drug and society will return back to sobriety. This is the third New Earth Order prediction. Hi, my name is Stelian. I'm the founder and chief storyteller at Neo, where we're channeling the future one prediction at a time, one conversation at a time, one collaboration in co creation at a time. As more of us are experiencing our spiritual awakening, we are understanding that alcohol has no function in society. It's destroying ourselves and it's taking us back in terms of our evolution because our genes are getting destroyed, not just at the physical level, but also at the mental and emotional level. We are remembering, we are creating new neurological pathways that are connecting the trauma further with the coping mechanisms, therefore making it much more difficult for us to actually heal from our experiences where we didn't act in alignment with our true higher self, our true authentic self. Alcohol is corroding us, morally speaking, and spiritually speaking as well. Here's the thing about alcohol it creates the perfect opportunity for the host of a vessel to give permission to entities and energies to enter. So when people are under the influence of alcoholic beverages, they're giving permission to dark entities, to shadows, to energetic vampires to take advantage of their vessels. And sometimes these entities and energies don't leave once the person has sobered up, but they stay with you, therefore contributing to you making bad decisions, hanging out with certain people that you wouldn't normally hang out with, and going down a path that isn't in alignment with your higher self. More people are returning back to sobriety and researching what a lifestyle of sobriety means because they no longer want to waste their potential. They no longer want to destroy their bodies. They no longer want to destroy their relationships. Turning to alcohol is often a coping mechanism. It's often an invitation for you to participate in a society that never intended to accept you as yourself. A society created for the perfect slaves that adhere to the social norms and standards. Alcohol makes you forget who you are. Alcohol creates a perfect slave out of you. When you're under the influence, you're more likely to be manipulated, to be enslaved into the system, to be recruited into schemes and partnerships that you never fully agreed to because you weren't thinking, because your common sense was down the drain. Alcohol is one of the ways the Matrix has manipulated us into believing that this is the best that we can do, that we shouldn't try again, that when we fail, alcohol is there waiting for us alongside our friends at the pub. But are they really friends? The people that are pouring alcohol down the second drink, the third drink, the fourth drink, when they should have advised us, go home and try again tomorrow. Research shows us that alcohol is destroying cells in the body, cells that might never be recovered. The longer time you spend drinking, the longer time you spend destroying yourself, killing your cells by your own free will. And of course, just like with fast food, the research isn't enough because fast food researchers have shown us exactly the damage that happens when we consume fast food every single day. Some of the most famous food chains have been researched. Researchers have shown us the damage. Well, researchers are showing us the damage from alcohol, and it doesn't seem to be enough proof for people to stop drinking. We often look to our ancestors who were organizing symposiums back in ancient Greece or using alcohol to clear the wounds and use those examples as evidence that we should continue to drink. But times have changed. We're no longer at war. We don't have the wounds to clear anymore. We have medicine that's quite advanced. And if you examine the research, you're going to notice that alcohol today contains ingredients that aren't quite pure, ingredients that either destroy your body much faster or ingredients that create an addiction. Let's not forget that some of the alcoholic beverages contain a lot of sugar. Sugar is linked to many conditions. Diabetes, one of the most disastrous conditions that a human body can experience. And those that grew up around people that were drinking all the time, out of habit, because there was always a reason, a celebration. We know what it's like for our parents and grandparents and teachers and mentors to not give us the attention and the love that we needed because they were too addicted to the habit of participating in society. So many people have opted in to be part of a lifestyle that society promotes so that they can fit in and find their space, find their belonging in society, not recognizing that they're destroying their relationships with their most beloved ones, their sons and daughters, their brothers and sisters, their parents, their partners, their spouses. Friendships have been lost because people have done some really stupid things under the influence of alcohol. Sure, some of them needed the excuse to act the way that they acted, but alcohol was involved in them making that bad decision, in them betraying their friends, in them betraying their partner. Alcohol does more damage than good in society. And you might say, oh, alcohol gives me the courage to actually speak to the woman that I like. Alcohol actually gives me a reason to spend time with my colleagues because otherwise we wouldn't have a reason to get to know one another. What are you, 5? That you need liquid courage in the form of a bottle of a beverage that's going to destroy you. Our souls are calling us back home, and alcohol is blocking that return back home. Alcohol is keeping you stuck, glued to a timeline, glued to a lifestyle that is beneath you, glued to your comfort zone. You're not going to be able to ascend if you cannot break free from a lifestyle that involves booze and partying and the people around you, the crowd around you that accommodates that lifestyle. This isn't the crowd that's going to be beside you when you're ascending, when you're awakening. You're going to see them for the empty vessels that they are, for the vessels that are also disconnected from their soul, from their higher self. And when you begin to awaken and ascend, you're going to realize how much you are disconnected from your own consciousness, your own identity. As we continue to heal the inner wounds and the outer wounds, more people are going to realize the value of not drinking, of not participating in the shenanigans. Society has sold you an illusion. Why do you think so much money is being poured into marketing? Why do you think celebrities are introduced into a lifestyle where they're always partying? Why do you think more and more celebrities have their own alcohol beverages? They're calling it their brand, their portfolio. It's really part of the agenda to keep glamorizing certain individuals in society that are leading you to self destruction. Celebrities are not to be worshipped in the future, especially with the lifestyle they're trying to sell you so damn hard. And if it's not alcohol they're trying to sell you, it's other types of food. It's cosmetics that you wear all the time that are filled with God knows what. And if it's not what you're eating or drinking or putting on your face, it's perfumes. What you're spraying on yourself, that's filled with all kinds of chemicals. And if it's not that, it's the clothes that you're wearing, the fast fashion that you're wearing. As you awaken and you ascend, you're going to realize that most of the things society promotes and finds acceptable are allowed precisely because they're destroying you, precisely because they're perpetuating cycles of you being disconnected from your own higher self, your soul, your consciousness. And as long as you're disconnected from your consciousness, you're not going to figure out what makes you you. You're not going to figure out what your purpose is. You're not going to align with your purpose. And therefore, you're going to fall into the trap of providing your energy, your time to bring someone else's dream into reality, a dream that might be attached to an agenda that's much more sinister than you can imagine. Because the moment you awaken and you ascend and you reconnect with your own purpose, you're going to know exactly what is right, what is in alignment with what you're here to do and what is trying to take you out of alignment. And as soon as you recognize what is trying to take you out of alignment, you're going to set a boundary. You're going to say, no, thank you. And alcohol is going to be one of those avenues, invitations. And yes, it's not just alcohol, it's also energy drinks, it's also fizzy drinks. The destruction that these types of beverages are doing on our body is insane. And I'm sure our ancestors are laughing at us for being so gullible and naive and so desperate for dopamine, for that instant joy that you get until the dopamine wears off and you're left with that notion that you need to find the next thrill, the next thing that gives you a rush of adrenaline. Slowing down being the most difficult thing that you can do, sitting with yourself being the most difficult thing that you can do, especially when there is a company out there. They're already at the pub waiting for you to join them. They've just ordered the next bottle. Oh, and there are shots, of course. It wouldn't be a proper night out if there aren't shots involved. I know. I've been there. I've been out. I've had the shots. I have the nights that I don't even remember. And there isn't an ounce of me that wants to go back to that because I learned a lesson. Have you? Have you learned the value of yourself, the value of your vessel, the value of your purpose, the value of your calling, the value of your belonging on earth, your presence on earth? You are needed, sober, conscious, ready to give in alignment with your soul, with your higher self, and with your consciousness. Your inner child is waiting for you to return back home so that you can break the cycles that you came here to break. You're not going to be able to break those cycles if you're always under the influence. If you're using alcohol to avoid the reality that you keep choosing for yourself because you're too scared to make the choices that you know you need to make, because you're too afraid to take accountability for your own life, because practicing your free will scares the shit out of you. You're not going to be able to self actualize if you keep running from yourself. Alcohol is doing so much damage in society, and I'm glad that more people are awakening to see right through the illusions. And it's ugly when you first awaken and you see life for what it is. It's quite ugly and it's quite shocking, but it's also liberating and it's very, very healing. May the children of the future never experience absent parents and absent peers as we're taking a step back from alcohol and returning to a lifestyle of sobriety where we get to actually connect with one another and share who we are, and then co create a much more united, more collaborative, more colorful, more authentic, more accepting earth together.